On this episode of Project SEAWOLF, we're going to be boarding a fishing vessel out of Newport, Oregon, and heading out 35 miles out into the Pacific to look for some rare bird species. It won't be only me chartering this boat. I'm joining a bunch of other birders, and the fishing company. Fishing charter company takes birders out as kind of a regular thing. It's not every day, but once or twice a month they take one of their larger boats out, and people can pay $100-$200 to go out into the deeper waters to look for some rare species that you wouldn't otherwise see.
Thing is safety on the boat.
So it's about 4 feet high. We went to Walport the day after, on Saturday morning, and there was dead end deer.
Hey, there's a turnstone. Right there. I think black.
What is it?
Black turnstone.
Oh yeah.
On the beam.
Yeah.
There's a black turnstone on the beam.
Morning guys. Welcome aboard. Bird watch.
Morning. Yeah.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Once we boarded the boat, it became immediately apparent that there were some interesting species already in the harbor here. As I mentioned before, there was a black turnstone on the beam under the dock, and coming out here there were some grebes, cormorants, and a glaucous gull, which I haven't seen since being up on the Arctic Ocean. So that's kind of a special gull to see. There it is, yeah. Lots of white on the wing and tail. It really stands out. And as we headed out of the harbor, the excitement started building. It was pretty smooth heading out. I got to see lots of pinnipeds, including harbor seals and California sea lions. A lot of those around. Because I did my thesis on harbor seals and California sea lions, it was nice to see those. Yeah, and then we hit the ocean swell, and this is the first time I'm experiencing an ocean swell on a smaller boat, except for that time we went to Ozette Island in the kayak, which is, you can find that episode back in the history books. Yeah, this trip was great for making birding friends, and bird friends. Right out, about a mile out, we started seeing a lot of common murres and ancient murrelets. I was the only one who got any pictures of the ancient murrelets because when I spotted them and pointed them out, the captain said it was too shallow over there, so we couldn't go back. But yeah, at least I got a decent enough pictures to prove to the guides that I saw them. Yeah, this is where it started getting a little exciting as we started going out a couple of miles, the swells got a little bit bigger, and made me think about all those sailboats that go down the coast and what that's like to cut through these waves instead of just bashing into them. Yeah, we saw a lot of rhinoceros auklets throughout the trip, which was a pretty common bird for me since they're fairly common to see in the Sound. And yeah, just constant common murres migrating along the coast. They look like puffins or penguins.
My battery's draining like really fast, which is not great. And I think it's the vibration control while we're on a sea. But yeah, I got ancient murrelets, which is awesome. one of the only people to see it, unfortunately. But yeah, grabbing the extra batteries, and then I'm gonna go back out front.
As you've probably heard from other sailing channels, the GoPro does not do the waves justice. The waves were, so big that you couldn't really see 2 or 3 wave cycles ahead, so they were like little hills out in the ocean. So if you saw any small birds floating on top, it was usually like, oh, there it is, and then it would dive down because you can't see them coming because of how big the swell is. So yeah, 20 miles out, we start seeing albatrosses, black-footed and liaisons. The rarer being the liaisons.
Pretty nice day for December.
So imagine taking a potato and painting it black and gray and then throwing it out 20 miles out to sea. That's basically what a Cassin's auklet is. Here we are at the first chum stop. They threw fish oil and some popcorn, and the fish oil is to attract them by scent, and the popcorn is just kind of interesting to look at. And then it didn't take too long for some interesting birds to start showing up.
Albatross coming right at us. Right
There he is.
Wow.
Right here.
Wow.
3 albatross now.
Yeah, the star albatross of this trip is definitely the black-footed. There were so many around, and they were so charismatic, and they'd come up to the boat and swim around, and that was pretty awesome because I hadn't seen albatrosses since being in the Antarctic. And yeah, flying around, there were northern fulmars and short-tailed shearwaters, and Iceland Gull, and black-legged kittiwake. All these birds were new for me, and yeah, I was pretty excited, and just being out on the waters was really exciting in general for me. I did see 2 whale spouts way off in the distance, but we were never really that close to any possible whales. Despite all the rocking and rolling and making long lens photography very difficult, I found the whole kind of motion of the water really relaxing and hypnotizing. It was really fun to figure out ways of being more stable. I'm sure that gets tiring after a few days at sea. And annoying, but for the short time we were out there, 7 hours, it was just kind of all around fun. I know if I had sat down while we were underway or laid down, I would have probably gotten very sick. But yeah, I like I like to stand up. Here comes the popcorn. Lots of visual interest for the birds.
Another chum stop.
So chum stop 1 was at about 30 miles out. Chum stop 2 is going to be at 20 miles out. And here at chum stop 2, we got a little bit more action from the fulmars, and we also got some more interesting albatross action. Chum stop 1, we had several black-footed albatross, but here at chum stop 2, we got glacialis, albatross again, and a very, very special visitor. The North Pacific has 3 main albatross species, the most common being the black-footed, the second most common being glacialis, and the third, as the other birders put it, the holy grail of albatrosses being the short-tailed albatross, which we got one. Came in to the boat very close and stayed with us throughout chum stop 2. These albatrosses were hunted to very near extinction in World War II, or around World War II, when only juveniles that had left the island for a year or so were still out at sea, and they came back and saved the species from complete extinction. So seeing these albatrosses that were once common was really, really special.
Right above all the birds. All the birds.
I got it. Okay.
These ain't coming right at us. Oh, yep.
Right here.
Right there.
Stop there.
Yeah.
So really, you guys think this all looks the same out here? These guys got it dialed in together. Wow. They've been patient long enough.
Overall, I found this experience really, really worth the money that I put into it, and the time, because it was a full weekend to go down to Oregon and wait for the weather window, because it was actually a really rough weekend. To spend quality time with the birds out in the ocean was just fantastic, and having the chance to see whales again, and the surprise northern fur seal, which is the 13th species of pinniped I photographed. There's only 33 in the world, so yeah, I'm running out of pinnipeds, and the worldwide route that I'm planning has a lot of pinnipeds in mind, so I hope someday I will have photographed every single pinniped species. And this trip got me one step closer to that. The last new bird species we saw on the way in was the pink-footed shearwater, which looks a lot like the short-tailed, but has kind of a wider back and oranger bill. And it's just one more bird knocked off the list that is actually really hard to find.
Off in this year. It was a great day. 3 different albatrosses. Cool. Still got my sea legs. Alright, now it's the long drive back to Olympia. My business meeting in Portland was canceled, so honestly that's probably a good thing. Because, yeah, keeping my balance on the boat, taking pictures was exhausting. Alright. Well, that was really, really cool. I definitely want to do it again in a different season. A different variety. Apparently it's very drastically different depending on the month. So my legs.